Yes, we are back on the USC Dynasty, and what a fitting time it is. Number 1 versus number 2. We're taking on the Oklahoma Sooners, the second-ranked team in the country. Funny, because they're going to be a part of today's topic as we get ready to take on the Sooners at LA Coliseum. Funny, now all of a sudden these two fan bases hate each other in real life because, as you know, Lincoln Riley dipped on Oklahoma to come to USC. Oklahoma fans would troll USC fans every time they lost a game. USC fans would troll Oklahoma every time the Sooners lost a game. And it's safe to say that despite the fact that both teams lost their bowl games, it is safe to say that USC fans had the blast of doing the most trolling. Oklahoma had a pretty rough year, lost a lot of transfers, a lot of injuries and stuff like that. USC just got to get their defense together. They could potentially have something out there in LA. But that's not the topic right now. The topic is this. As you see, Antonio Sears taking the field once again. So the topic is this. In case you have not heard the news that it just came about this past week, the Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns don't want to wait anymore. As of 2024, summer 2024, Oklahoma and Texas will both be SEC schools. Southeastern Conference for those keeping record at home. So here's the plan. Well, the initial plan was to leave the conference, the BIGXII conference, in 2025. Now, both teams are going to pay exit fees in order to join the SEC come 2024. Now, with that being said, and then of course you got the EA Sports college football video game coming back next summer. 2024 is going to be crazy, man. So as you know, the game comes out in sometime in the summer. Oklahoma and Texas will be SEC schools as of July 1st, 2024. Now, both teams, as I said earlier, wanted to come in 2025, but they have decided to pay a combined $100 million in exit fees to leave the Big 12 in order to come to the to the SEC. Now, with that being said, now questions are, what about conference division? How they're going to break down the two different divisions? I have seen the clip of people saying that Auburn and Alabama are going to move to the SEC West in order to make room for Texas and Oklahoma. I'm very curious of how they're going to do that, because I believe that's going to be big, not only in football but basketball and other sports. Now, as you know, while the Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma Sooners were entertaining the invitations by the SEC, the Big 12 was already making moves to find out who their replacements were going to be. And as you know, starting this summer, Central Florida, BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston, all four of those schools I just named will be Big 12 schools starting this summer 2023. So with that being said, I can't wait, man. I really can't wait to see what happens. Now, another thing that motivated Texas and Oklahoma to make this move is the new TV deal that the SEC has with ESPN. So in case you don't know about that, so ESPN will be the exclusive carrier of SEC football games and SEC basketball games, meaning no other station, no other channel will be airing them, unless it's like SEC Network, ESPNU, ESPN2 and stuff like that, you know. But the Texas Longhorns want to be a part of that all that starts in 2024. They're going to be the exclusive carrier for SEC games, just like Fox is going to be the exclusive carrier of Big Ten games, which also starts in 2024. It's going to be a crazy year as far as football, man. Now, Texas and Oklahoma not only have to pay the Big 12 all that money, but they also have to pay Fox in order to get out of that TV deal as well. So that is big, man. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy how much TV money is a big deal now in the sports world, especially in college. And it's not just the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC that's going to be making some big move as far as conference alignment. Remember, summer of 2023, schools like UAB and I believe it was Charlotte, they're going to be AAC schools. You saw the new Sunbelt that just happened this past season in 2022. But this is going to be crazy, man. I can't wait for that video game to come out. I can't wait to see all these conference alignments. And I also can't wait to get on that college football revamp if I can successfully install it. So back to the SEC. Now with that being said, there's been talks of like scheduling format for each school in the SEC. One of them had proposed an 8-league conference schedule with each school having one permanent opponent. Another one is proposing a 9-league schedule with 3 permanent opponents. So I'm anxious to see how they break that down. Also, will they still be SEC East, SEC West? Are they going to break it down by 4 divisions, or are they going to keep it at 4? That's also something to look out for. Because they might do a little mini tournament for the SEC football championship. Nah, let me take that back. I doubt if that ever happens. That'd be crazy though if they did do that. Now, conference personnel for the SEC will be meeting up in their annual spring meetings, which starts in March. That's next month. And for what I've read, they're leaning towards the 9-game schedule with 3 permanent opponents. So we have to be on the lookout for that, man, because that's going to be very, very important. I know as of now, they do plan on doing that with no divisions, which I don't agree with. I feel that if you have more than 12 teams in a conference, especially in football, you should have divisions, which I didn't agree with the Pac-12 this past season. This season in the Pac-12 with this past season in 2022, what I didn't know was they stopped doing divisions. I thought we had won the conference outright. I thought Utah was going to win that division. I thought we needed Utah to lose a game in order to win that division. But lo and behold, hey, we played Utah for the Pac-12 championship game, and guess what? We got our ass whooped. Now, with that being said, it could be more entertaining with no divisions. You have the best 2 teams in the conference, no doubt, playing each other. That's more guaranteed with no divisions. But let's see what happens, man. I'm very curious. So with Texas and Oklahoma both moving from the Big 12 to the SEC, I believe that just puts more pressure on not only Brent Venables, but it also puts pressure on Steve Sarkisian. Steve Sarkisian, a guy who I felt is a mediocre head coach at best. He's a way better offensive coordinator than he is a head coach, and you can make a case for that for a lot of people. A lot of people just aren't head coaches. They're bred off being coordinators. For example, my favorite NFL team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we're in this situation right now. Todd Bowles is not a head coach. I don't care what nobody says. He's more of a defensive-minded guy. He should stay as a defensive coordinator. But he, in my opinion, just doesn't have the motivational spark. He doesn't have that personality in order to be a head coach, in my opinion. But back to Steve Sarkisian, man. So Steve Sarkisian, he left Alabama being the OC there. When it was announced that he was going to be the next head coach for the Texas Longhorns, there was a lot of hype following him. I know they're starting to get big name recruits again and all that stuff because it's Texas, the Texas Longhorns. It's always been a big name school and all that good stuff. But so far the product on the field just hasn't been living up to the hype. I know they lost. I think they lost they lost in the Alamo Bowl to Washington, as a matter of fact. Washington's a very good team, by the way. But for the most part, Texas has not been up to par, and neither has Oklahoma. Brent Venables, they struggled a lot this season. They did manage to beat Oklahoma State, so that was very big for them. They did get shut out in the Red River Shootout against Texas, and that had a lot of people shocked. Then, of course, they lost in the bowl game versus Florida State, a game which I watched from start to finish. I watched a lot of bowl games, though. But for the most part, Oklahoma has a lot of growing to do, just like they most hated enemy, Texas. Also, what's got me curious about this move is the Texas and Texas A&M rivalry. Now remember, this rivalry is so intense, so bad, so much hatred that they stopped playing each other on the field. I want to see if they're going to bring that back. Well, they have no choice now. They have to bring that back now. The Texas A&M Aggies were mad that the Texas Longhorns were getting their own network, so they decided to run to the SEC. That's one of the main things that motivated Texas A&M to leave the Big 12 for the SEC. Now, you have two schools that haven't played each other since the mid-2000s. I believe Colt McCoy was the quarterback for Texas the last time Texas A&M played them. I believe in the last game was in College Station. I believe they won Texas won that game on a game-winning field goal. I'll never forget that game. That game was pretty intense. Now remember what I said earlier. This plan was supposed to be in action in the summer of 2025. That was the initial plan. But now that they're they're increasing it to 1 year. I think that puts more pressure on Sarkisian and Venables. Have them prep for what they need to be doing, especially in the recruiting ground, because you know ACC schools are recruiting Texas strong now, but a lot of schools around the country are recruiting Texas strong. There's so much talent in that state. Now the Big 12 will take a hit with Texas and Oklahoma being gone, but all is not bad. Remember, they're still gonna have that media rights deal, which is what, like $2.3 billion of extension, which is crazy, by the way. And then on top of that, they did add those 4 schools I said earlier. I said Cincinnati, Houston, Central Florida, and BYU. But I also know that they're looking to get Gonzaga in that conference for basketball. If my memory's correct, I don't think Gonzaga has a football team. I gotta go back and confirm that. I forgot. But Gonzaga basketball is big in the state of Washington, and getting them in the Big 12 would be pretty interesting in my opinion, man. Like this season, the Big 12, as far as college basketball, has been the best conference. Kansas State has been making a little bit of noise. Kansas still doing their thing. Texas hasn't been bad at all. For the most part, the Big 12 has been the best conference. In my opinion, the Big 12 has been the best conference as far as college basketball. Maybe the ACC, I think the ACC has been right behind them. I know my North Carolina Tar Heels ain't really talking about much. There's also some rumors going around that the Big 12 is also interested in 4 particular schools out west in the Pac-12. I know Arizona's one of them. I know Arizona State is one of them. And I believe the other 2 are Utah and Colorado. That's crazy because Colorado was in this conference, if you do remember. As you see, we gave up a big long touchdown right there to John Hunter. That don't even make no damn sense. But I always felt that Colorado should have stayed in the Big 12. Like they've done absolutely nothing as far as football since joining the Pac-12. Like they're really going through it, man, out there in Boulder, Colorado. We'll see what Dion can do though, but be on the lookout for that. As a matter of fact, that Colorado-Nebraska rivalry used to be legit back in the 90s. I still remember that one with Chris Brown rushed for 6 touchdowns in one game versus Nebraska, a game which they beat Nebraska too. But it looks like for the most part, with the exception of Central Florida and Cincinnati, it looks like the Big 12 is looking to expand further west, which would be pretty cool. We do need teams out west that need more TV time and more sport, because I don't care what nobody says, college football specifically is pretty East Coast bias. There's a lot of East Coast bias in college basketball as well. But that comes with the territory though, because remember, if you draw a line in the middle of the country, and I'm talking about the United States, draw it like a long vertical line right there in the middle of the country, you would realize that at least 80% of people in America live on the East Coast. The other 20% live in the West Coast. And a lot of people don't get to see West Coast teams play because they're probably at the club Saturday night or they're probably sleeping. But I try to do my best with me living in the Central Time Zone, I try to do my best to watch as many teams as I can. I try to watch everybody, but that's damn near impossible. Like, I love Mountain West football, especially watching the Air Force play, because they remind me of football and its purity and stuff like that. Look at this run right here, though. Look at the commissioner, Byron Gordon, taking that ball up the right side and gone. Look at the speed. That's why he's on the Heisman watch list right now. But yeah, man, I cannot wait for 2024. Can't wait. The game's coming out. I'm still trying to decide who I want to play with. It's going to be a trash team too. It's probably going to be a team either in the Sun Belt or the AAC conference. Maybe the Mountain West. I don't know. But I can't wait for that game to come out. Just licking my chops, man. In the meantime, like I was saying in a previous video, I do plan to get college football revamped. I don't really care for the updated rosters and stuff like that. What I do want, though, I do want updated conferences and stuff like that. I can work with that. College football playoff, definitely need that. I mean, the college football world has changed drastically since the BCS era, man. Like, you can't hide that now. Now you got conferences adding schools that we never thought they would be adding before. I know a lot of people are worried about tradition and stuff like that, but for some schools, if they stay trying to keep tradition going, then they're going to be left behind. So I understand it, man. Then, of course, what we've all known, it's always been about money. And in this case, TV money is starting to take over the college football world. That's why USC and UCLA leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. So what are y'all thoughts, man? Leave y'all thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? Are you ready for 2024? Thank you for watching. Peace.